Over the past 2 seasons, I've realized I hate a few things in particular. One, using a rotary plow on the BCS, I'm with you. And 2, maintaining pathways. I think I'm going to trial some wood chips in my pathways / living mulch clover this season. I know wood chips take a while to break down, but I'm wondering if, I got a good one for you on this one. I love your question, by the way. I've just seen this so many times before. I know wood chips take a while to break down, but I'm wondering if I shape beds year 1 and apply wood chips year 2, it maintains shape and I do nothing. Then year 3, wood chips are broken down and I reshape. All this without having to deal with a single weed. Wishful thinking, I know. Any thoughts, recommendations? Yeah, great question. I love it. I just, you know me, I like to be just straightforward. You're dreaming if you think that you're not going to have weed problems because you put wood chips in your beds. Guarantee 100% you will have. No, in the first year, you will have less weed pressure the first year. You'll have just as much as you would without it in the next year. And then you got to deal with the wood chip. So, that whole ramial wood chip idea of rotary plowing the walkways, filling them with wood chips, maybe inoculating some kind of fungus in there. And then, oh yeah, no weeds at all. And then they break down over the winter, and then you harrow them back on the beds to act as some kind of carbonous compost the next year. Fantastic idea in principle. Beautiful idea in principle. It's like you couldn't imagine a better scenario, really. But it just doesn't play out that way. The main reason it doesn't play out that way is that every time you shape your beds, so 30-inch beds, every time you run your power harrow, your flail mower, your rototiller, whatever, on your bed, dirt goes into the walkways, and it's going to mix with those wood chips, and that dirt's going to have weed seeds in it, 100% guaranteed. So that whole idea with ramial wood chips in the walkways just doesn't play out because there are some technical things that prevent it from playing out that way. Primarily, it's when you turn the bed over, dirt flies around. That's really in the simplest way to put it. That's what happens. So. You don't have to believe me on this one. Try it, but and here's the other problem with it. Here's the really, really, really annoying and big problem with it. When you have ramial wood chip walkways, good luck running a stirrup hoe or a wheel hoe through them. It's brutal. There's so much resistance because you get it jammed on chips. It doesn't cut through the chips, right? A stirrup hoe blade, the blade cuts through dirt really easily. It cuts through dirt and it'll knock rocks out of the way because they're so hard. But wood chips are soft and absorb shock. And so you're going to get weeds in your walkway. Even in the first year, you'll get, after you've rotated your beds a couple times, you're going to get weeds in your walkways. And then you're going to want to go through with the stirrup hoe or a wheel hoe, and it's going to go, you're going to run your wheel hoe and you're going to get all stoked. And you're going to get some, I did this exact thing. I'm kind of making fun of myself. And I did this on Jean Martin's farm. I had the wheel hoe and I was like running along, and then I completely winded myself because the wood chips just don't accept the resistance the same way that the soil does. So, and when I first heard about the ramial wood chips idea, I was super stoked about it. I probably even said it in videos at one time when I was vlogging all the time on the farm. I was going to do it on the farm. I was going to totally reshape all the beds on my farm and do that ramial wood chip thing. I've got a good connection to wood chips. The guy next door to one of my farm plots runs a chipping company, basically, so I can get them whenever I want. And I was going to do it until I went to JM's farm and saw it after 2 years and was like, this is just not practical. I don't know if has he come out and said that he didn't. I mean, he did to me, but has he come out and said that himself? I don't know. But yeah, that's that, man. The thing with weeds is when it comes down to managing walkways, it's just kind of part of the deal. The way to do it is to do it once a week or once every 10 days, or maybe even once every 2 weeks, and just do it and do them all and do it even when you don't see weeds. It's It's that constant cultivation that keeps weed pressure down and stops weeds from germinating. I think on most of the market gardens I know, they do it every week, once a week, like clockwork. You know, we did it too. We would do it on Wednesdays because that was kind of the flex day on the farm. So we just hit it on Wednesdays. Every walkway, every perimeter, just do it, and then it's done. I had, in the last 2 years, I had the TerraTech wheel hoe, which has that T-shaped blade, which I love because you can just give her with that thing. So it makes it quite fast. And then, you know, the other thing I learned too, and I talked about this years after in my vlogs, is that we tried landscape fabric on the walkways too. We laid down fabric, pinned down every 3 feet. And the thinking there was, yeah, it's going to stop the weeds. And they did for the first year, but just like the wood chip thing, every time I turn beds, dirt comes in because dirt flies around when you're working the soil, whether you're doing it by hand with a stirrup hoe or a rake, or you're doing it by your tiller or tilther or whatever. So that dirt just gets in these fabrics, and then weeds grow in the fabrics, and then it's pointless because then now with the fabrics I can't run a stirrup hoe through it. So it became more problematic. So to this day, I haven't really found a solution to eliminate weeding in walkways. I think it's just, maybe somebody's got something. You know, you can flame weed them too, but I don't see a practical way of doing some kind of mulch in there, at least in a market garden context. You know, when you're talking homesteads or home gardens, that's a different thing. But for commercial farming, it just doesn't make sense to me. So I would heed my advice and just don't do it, because it'll just make a bunch of extra work for you. And I've already done that, at least with the fabrics. JM did the whole farm in Ramley wood chips, and I don't see them adding those wood chips consistently. So I think that whole experiment stopped there.